All right, I'm joined on this episode by an old friend, Michael Crain. We made it happen, pal. How's it going?
Good to be here, Randy. Thanks for having me.
Apparently, this is news to me. Apparently, you go by just Crain now. So for all the West Coast people, I'm joined by Crain.
Yeah, it's a little weird. My wife and my in-laws all refer to me as Crain now, and my mom thinks it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But everyone at work calls me Crane, and that's what it is. It gets awkward when I introduce myself. I'm like, "Oh, hey, you're Randy Forcier. I'm Crane."
I'm Crain. Yeah. No, it's cool, man, because I haven't seen you in a long time, and we're just kind of exchanging emails before. It's just learned some new things. And dude, it's been decades, right? Like 20 years, something like that. I mean, we probably crossed paths in our 20s, but here we go. We're in our 40s now, and it's just time flies. So
I think I was trying to think about the last time we saw each other. I think I was at like a Christmas party that you had when I was in college. So
man, like
20 years.
I used to host.
We went to a Dave Matthews concert together.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we might have been even in our teens back then. That might have been the college years. That was fun. That was in New York, right? Saratoga, right?
Saratoga Springs. Yeah.
Saratoga. I was just actually talking to someone about Saratoga, and I was thinking back about that concert. So that was a blast. But that was a long time ago. Yeah, I used to do ugly sweater parties at my house way back in the day.
I
remember you being there, man.
Yeah.
So, but we have a lot to catch up on, dude. My hope today is just kind of share your story, catch up on what you've been up to. I've been admiring what you've been up to from a distance. So, look forward to talking about it all if you're up for it.
I'm totally up for it. I do really quick, Randy, want to just say thanks for having me on. And I've watched you from afar, listened to you from afar. I will occasionally listen to the podcast driving into work over the Golden Gate. And I don't know. I was trying to think of like a funny story to tell about the podcast. For some reason, sometimes on podcasts, you like it gets stuck on the same thing. And like every time I got into my car, I had you and your brother talking about, is it a Marvel movie or something? But for like a month, every time I turned on my car, it was like stuck and I didn't know how to fix it. So
Awesome.
Little did you know that I was thinking about you every day for a month.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I have that a lot with like my kids' songs. Will show up and I'm just like, oh God, not again.
Exactly. You know? But I will just say, being on the West Coast, being able to check in on things going on in my hometown and hearing what you're doing and seeing what you're doing, it's pretty impressive. So
yeah, thanks, man. It's been fun. It's been a great way to. I mean, like you said, like as someone that is away. I mean, my podcast is pretty Biddeford focused, which is where we're from. Yeah. So yeah, it's probably a good way to catch up on different things that are happening in town. So. But I think that's probably a good place to start between the two of us. That works. Yeah. I mean, going way back to those Biddeford years growing up. Yeah. I remember you in Little League and just different sports, and you were an ERC guy, if I remember correctly, in Little League. So it's like I can identify people by their Little League team. So it's like what I think about when I think of you.
But are you Biddeford Savings?
Biddeford Savings, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the blue and yellow.
Amazing.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk about growing up in Biddeford, what your memories were of growing up in Biddeford. Who are some of those people that had a big influence on you? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I moved to Biddeford when I was 7, and I grew up actually across from St. Louis Field in those brick apartments with my mom. Mm-hmm. So when I was 7 onwards until I was about 12, but I was the guy the kid that lived at St. Louis Field. I spent all day, every day there. I got to know all the coaches and the players, and I was at double sessions for when Mike Rottello was the soccer coach.
Yeah.
I caught every foul ball. I did the scorebook for, I'm sure some of your listeners will probably remember me being 8, 9 years old. I did the scorebook for Babineau.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I mean,
that's
what's
awesome. That? I said like just a funny little.
I mean, the people that were in and around St. Louis Field in the 90s were essentially like father figures to me and role models, and I could name every player that was on the baseball team of like the Jason Crapo days. So like,
that's funny. Those are good players, good teams.
So fond memories. Obviously can't leave out Desi, who was a major part of my life growing up. But
can we just talk about Desi first? Desi and Babineau, like these are two I mean, to paint a picture of what Biddeford is like back then, like very like sports focused and football focused, but I guess just general sports. And like Desi was an older man, and Babineau was 20 years younger than him or whatever. And I kind of lose track, but those were like the two Biddeford super fans that were at every sporting event. And like you said, it sounds like you befriended them, and they had a huge impact on you.
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, outside of my mom, the people in and around St. Louis Field like raised me, and Desi and Babineau were key members of that. I was, as we were preparing for this and just thinking about this, my wife gave me a book when we were first dating called The Tender Bar, and it's a memoir by this guy J.R. Mooringer, and it's basically talks about how he grew up with a single mom, and in the 70s and 80s on Long Island, and the bar that his uncle owned, called Dickens after Charles Dickens, was where he spent his entire childhood. And the book, little did she know, like, she gave me this, we were first dating, and little did she know that as I'm reading this book, each chapter is a different person that had an impact on his life. And I'm reading it and I'm like, there's a chapter about Desi, Babineau, Popcorn, Romeo, Sidewinder. I mean, like all of these figures that were in and around the sports fields. And then you think about, like, I know you had him as a coach, Dan Mishu.
Yeah.
Coach Cody was obviously, I vividly remember Desi, like, showing off to Coach Cody that I could name every single baseball player on the field. Like,
really?
I wouldn't change it for a minute. And then I obviously, when Desi followed my sports career and my life, we did every Christmas together from when I was 10 until he passed away.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Why is that, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what was the connection? Is it just that connection that you formed at St. Louis Field, or was there more like family connections that I don't think I was aware of?
No, not family connections. I mean, Desi didn't have much of a family, and it was just, he was just a major impact on my life, and we kind of took him in, and like many other families. But I mean, this is crazy. I went to Yankee Stadium with Babineau and Desi. We drove the three of us. I was like 12. And we're in my mom's minivan with Maine license plates. We stopped and got gas in New York. Someone scammed Babineau into paying $100 for their gas. We get to the Bronx, and we don't know where to go. And we got a police escort because we're driving around in this minivan. And they're like, "You're at the Bronx Zoo, not at Yankee Stadium." And we get to Yankee Stadium, and we get scammed into thinking we're buying tickets that are like front row and dropping the nosebleeds. And it's just like three main guys that have no clue what they were doing. But that was old Yankee Stadium. But yeah, anyway, all this to say, Desi, Babineau, and I were very, very close.
They don't have guys like that, I feel like, in local sports, in town sports. Those guys seemed like they were unique at the time for what they were. Your relationship aside, obviously it's a whole other level, but just in terms of what they meant to Biddeford, they just don't have people like that then or now. So they were one of a kind.
Two of a kind. Sure. Yeah.
So Dan Mishu, huh? Everyone had Dan Mishu, man.
The best. I mean, I handful of years ago, it's hard being on the West Coast and you're away from people that had impacts on your life. And I have tried to reflect on that. And a handful of years ago, I sent him a note just saying how much of a positive impact he had on my life. Little League, Senior League. Yeah. It's when you grow up with a single mom, like those mentors and father figures like that are important.
And we had a lot of great ones. A lot of great coaches, man. All the way from when we were kids through high school. And yeah, I mean, all the guys that you mentioned that had an impact on you, those guys are all guys that mostly had an impact on me and people that we grew up with, and are still larger than life names in our community.
Yep.
So let's talk about Babson. Babson, this is where you went after high school, right? Was that where you were going to Babson after high school no matter what, or did you kind of fall into going to Babson? How'd that all work out?
Good question. So I graduated in 2002. I knew that I wanted to probably see what was outside of Maine. but I had no clue. I was recruited. I know you and I played baseball together, and we were on the same football team. You far better than I was. I was the kicker on the football team.
Real quick though, but people don't realize that you also played soccer.
Exactly. I was the
So
captain of the soccer team and the kicker for the football team.
You were the guy that would come over from the soccer team, and it was like a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
When you came over,
I had double sessions every day.
Yeah.
Sophomore, junior, and senior year. It's funny. I think someone can maybe correct me, but when I would go home to see Desi, even in college, we would grab a beer and I'd bring him scratch tickets and we would like talk about the sports teams and he would update me on what was going on. But every year I signed the football program because I think I might still have the most field goals in a season. So you never know. I'm hoping someone beat me. I think it's 6 field goals in an 8-game season, but yeah.
There's not a lot of field goals kicked in high school football. Man, so like that is probably a record that still stands. I mean, I don't even know that 6 extra points get kicked all season. You know?
But you remember the days of like Minho Choi and Cho, like they were unreal. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started kicking. I wanted to be like them. Anyway, yeah, where were we? So I graduated from high school. Knew that I wanted to probably try something else. I was a hurdler. I ran track and was recruited at a handful of schools. Mainly thought I was going to go to Colby. So again, was going to get out of Biddeford, maybe go outside of Maine. I ended up getting waitlisted at a handful of schools. I into Babson because the coach there had wanted me to run track. I think frankly, our high school team was probably better than the Babson track team. But so I'd heard about it. I knew it was a business school. I knew that they specialized in like entrepreneurship, but I, to be honest, didn't totally know what I was getting into. And anything outside of Biddeford, Maine was like pretty foreign.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ended on, I can confidently say, probably the best decision I've ever made. It like set me on the path that I'm on today. And little did I know that like not going to Colby was a really good thing for me.
Obviously, both great schools, Babson, Colby. That's a class of
no knock on Colby by any.
So it sounds like you had some pretty good internships that kind of led to where you are now during your time at Babson. Didn't you get like a really good internship through your time at Babson?
Yeah, so a bit of a longer story, but freshman year at Babson, for those that don't, I'd say it's the number 1 entrepreneurial school in the nation. Like they very much bring in entrepreneurs to teach you all the fundamentals of starting your own business or running a family business or whatever. And so I went to all the speaker series, and one speaker series in particular as a freshman was the Nantucket Nectars guys, Tom and Tom, the juice guys.
Yep.
Tom Scott got up there and he was like, they had in Nantucket started a company on a boat called All Serve. And basically they would go and do anything that you asked them to do. In addition to that, that was bringing the newspaper, whatever it is, and it was all in the harbor. And they started selling his mom's juice, and that's how Nantucket Nectars became a thing. Okay. And I was like so enthralled and inspired by his talk that I was like, I live on the beach. Like there's people that want to get things. And I started thinking about the bathhouse and at Biddeford Pool. And I was like, do you remember, of course you remember, Chris Clancy was doing some like the pop-up there.
Clancy was? God. I mean, honestly, that sounds right.
And then it was all, this was like pre-food trucks, but
Tim Stebbins did some type of.
Stebbins did it after us. Stebbins was after us, but do you remember Moondoggies? Like that was like
100%.
Yeah. So food trucks were a thing, and I was like, all right, I need a summer job. We're gonna build a truck, and we're gonna park it at the bathhouse. This is gonna be my own small business. I partnered with Eric Karen, and we started Maccoon's Beachside Burgers and Dogs, open every sunny day, 11-ish to 3-ish, and it was the greatest summer job you can imagine. Little did I know, so we then ran it for 3 years. We ended up selling the truck on eBay for like a couple grand, and some guy in Lansing, Michigan bought it and drove it 900 miles, and I think it's a taco stand somewhere in Lansing, Michigan. Anyway, I, that that job, when I was a junior in college, I put in my resume to Arnold Worldwide, which was the premier, maybe still is, the premier ad agency in Boston. And they at the time had Volkswagen, and it was the shop that you wanted to be at. And I got picked to be on the McDonald's account because I knew how to like flip burgers. So like I told the story of owning a hot dog and hamburger stand that then landed me a job, an internship at Arnold Worldwide, and then where I am today in advertising in San Francisco, I got that job because I had the internship at Arnold Worldwide, which is like a huge name. And when I walked into the agency I work at now and told them the story of running a hot dog and hamburger stand in Biddeford Pool, Maine, they were like, that's the most unique thing we've ever heard. Like,
really?
Yeah. So Eric, Karen, and I were on to something, and I have Moondoggies to thank. I have Chris Clancy, I guess. He's probably like, what? Why are you bringing me up on this podcast?
But that's just because you ended up going to Babson instead of Colby, and you hear this speaker series, and you have this idea put in your head, and it's like, all these.
Yeah. So it was. I'm now, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but I tell people that I've been at my agency now for 19 years. It's the first job I've had, and they're like,
you're probably 41 years old, right? 40, 41. Yeah, so I mean, right out of college.
Yeah, they're like, so where were you before this? Because everyone moves around in advertising. Where were you before this? I was like, well, I was on a beach in Biddeford, Maine, selling hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, full circle. So that's what got me to where I am. But yeah, I moved out of San Francisco 15 days after graduation with a buddy and had no clue what we were doing. And
so did you not have your job that you have now that you're just like, okay, I need someplace that's as different from New England as possible. I'm going to go Northern California.
I listened to your story a few days ago, Randy, where you were just talking about like what you were doing after college. I'm very much in the same boat. I had no clue. I did the whole interviews in Boston, and like that was likely the plan, and then just decided, my aunt lives out on the West Coast. I'd been out here before. And it was just like, let's take a leap of faith, and I'm one-way ticket.
I love it. Just
I haven't looked back.
So why San Francisco specifically? You're like, that's just city, that's not Los Angeles, and something about that specific part of the country, or are you just like?
I'd been out here a couple times and loved the city, loved the vibe. I know it's close to the outdoors. I had close friends from Babson that were also moving out. My best friend in the world, Morgan, we moved out together. We lived on couches for 4 months, and then we actually shared a bedroom for 2 years. And I mean, it's like you're moving across the country to the most expensive city outside of New York, and to save money, we called it roommates.
It's awesome, though. I mean, it was expensive then. I know it's expensive now. I mean, San Francisco has been expensive for a long time. So, yeah, I'm sure you have to find ways to save some money.
I interviewed at a handful of places. I almost took a job at Foot Cone and Belding, which is
another ad agency.
Another ad agency, but globally known, and on the Dockers account, because Levi's is out here.
Yeah.
And I think they were gonna pay me like 20-something grand, and I ended up getting a few more grand from where I work now. And I was like, I am rich. Like, this is crazy.
You're like, let's go.
So, yeah. And I've been at the same place 19 years. Yeah.
So it's Goodby Silverstein Partners. Is that how you pronounce it? I feel like I would butcher that, but I could potentially butcher that.
Nailed it. Yeah.
So you interviewed there, you got the job. What was the first account that you had?
I worked on HP, Hewlett Packard. And then very quickly, so I don't know if your listeners know like how the ad industry is structured or how like a team is. I'm on the account side, so I'm like the kind of the liaison between the creatives and the client. So I like can live in the. I'm like, did you watch Mad Men? I'm like Pete Campbell but hopefully like nicer and less ego. And I actually, this is funny. I graduated Babson. I was like, I got to go buy some suits. Like at Babson, we would present with jackets and like it was a thing. And so I bought a couple suits. My mom bought me 2 fresh suits and some shoes. Moved across the country, walk into Goodby. That's what they call it for short, Goodby. Walk into Goodby, and the head of HR was like, "Don't ever wear a suit here again."
Really? Great.
So, but I'm like the suit guy. I'm Pete, but different. So I'm the liaison.
You're managing the relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was on HP for a year, and then I was.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah,
when you said you were on HP, were you the account manager? Or are you like a junior?
I was like the little assistant account manager. There
was
a
team of account managers.
Yeah. And then a full team. HP was massive then for us. We had the enterprise side, so servers and storage. We had the printing. We had the computers personal again, but it was like global campaigns we were working on. I mean, I was like, well, Goodby is at that time too. I mean, we had won Agency of the Year in the U.S. 3 years. The first 3 years I was there, we won Agency of the Year. It was like the heyday, and I like got the dream job directly out of school.
Did you realize it was a dream job when you got it, or you're like, oh, I think this is gonna be great. They offered you a little bit more money than the other place, like, or did you know, like, I think I just got my dream job, or do you even remember?
We are famously known for I didn't, obviously way before my time, but we came up with Got Milk.
Everyone knows that.
Budweiser Frogs.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, so, and a handful of others. I mean, I had these things hanging on my wall. Do you remember, we were just talking about this the other day, do you remember Sega? Like
Love that. Yeah.
That was us. But I like vividly remember that all in the 90s. I had the stuff hanging on my wall. So I in Boston, Comcast, it's Comcastic, was the ads I saw in college. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by the people that are coming up with that.
Isn't it interesting to hear how advertising plays a role in your life? You know, the fact that you had those things in your wall and like, this is what you do now, you know, you kind of see it from all angles. It's interesting.
Yeah. So it was, I knew that I had like landed something pretty special. I don't think I was 22 and living with a roommate. Like I didn't totally get it, but I did start to like, I then started to work on other accounts. I worked on the Nintendo Wii Fit launch, and this was like, and I did a handful of titles from Nintendo Wii. This was like,
which is huge though. Wii is like cultural phenomenon,
and it was like in the heyday of Wii. We were doing international shoots. I was flying. I was 24 years old flying. Again, I'm like the account manager. I'm not like running the account, but I was I was in Australia when Obama won, and we were there for a 2-week shoot. I was the guy that brought over all the Nintendo Wiis, and I'm in the airport opening up my bag, then seeing 4 Nintendo Wiis, and people were like coming around being like, how do you have those? Like, you can't get them in stores. And that was, yeah, it was insane. So I did that for a couple of years, and we launched a ton of their titles and shot a lot of video game stuff. And then my next big account was all Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
And I started to like, by that point I was an account director and started to like rise the ranks, and primarily was at that point, again, there's so many people on the team, so it's not like one person like running it, but I was the lead
for that relationship.
For that relationship on Doritos.
So Doritos is Frito-Lay, right?
Yeah, all the O's: Doritos, Cheetos, Tostitos, Ruffles.
Which means I'm just a commoner, you know what I mean? So that makes sense when you say it that way.
Yeah, so for 6-7 years, I was jumping around doing all the different O's and Ruffles.
Now, Doritos, you did a Doritos Super Bowl commercial, right?
So,
or was it Doritos, or was it something different?
I'll explain. We ran a program called Crash the Super Bowl where we let fans. It was like early days of YouTube, and like where it was like user generated content was the thing. So we created a program called Crash the Super Bowl where we allowed fans to create our ads. and we would get thousands of them. We would sit in a room and we would then pick which ones were the best, narrow it down to about 15, 20, pick them the top 10, and then we let America vote. And whatever America voted actually ran in the Super Bowl. And so we would then, the program would start at the start of the football season and the NFL season, go all the way through. So we allowed people to create these ads, and we would give them licensed music. We would give them tips on how to make the ads. Yeah. We wanted high quality ads to run in the game. And then we would all go to the game. I've been to 6 Super Bowls. We would go to the games with the creators, and we would sit in a suite and we would have a camera on them, filming them, and we wouldn't tell them if their ad had made it or not. And live, they would see in front of 100 and something million people their ad. And so we ran this program, and you had the USA Today ad meter, and basically it was like 300 people in middle America that had like a dial, and they'd turn it up if they liked the ad, or they turned it down if they didn't like it. And if crashing the Super Bowl was, we believe that our fans, our Doritos fans, could have the best ad in the game, and if they won the USA Today ad meter, they got $1 million.
So you did this for 6 or 7 years?
The program lasted for, they actually just brought it back last year. The program lasted for 10, 12 years.
Did you ever have anyone get the $1 million?
Yeah. We gave away. It was like, it was every year we were trying to up it. It was like very much like Survivor style. It was like, we're going to bring back the people that had the best ads before. And we brought Pepsi Max into the mix one year. But it was, Randy, it was insane. You're watching these young filmmakers, oftentimes filmmakers, who are trying to create or start a career in advertising or in film. And they're not only having their ad, they put their blood, sweat, and tears on the Super Bowl, but then they maybe win $1 million. And then, like, if you came in second place, you got 600,000. You came in third, 400,000. It was wild. And you're at the Super Bowl, so it was, talk about pinch me moments. It was cool.
So you're not coming up with this idea specifically, or how involved are you in the concept of what this became?
We ran the program. We ran the program that, and we would get thousands of submissions.
But as far as like the whole idea of doing this, as far as doing this whole like season long thing and the way it's going to go in the Super Bowl and filming these people live, is this like a Crain thing, or is this like the team thing?
No. It was actually another agency, the marketing arm, that came up with the idea, but then that idea morphed every year, and we would build the website. And so we were presenting ideas every year to up the Crash the Super Bowl, but we were managing the whole program. We were managing the website that allowed all of the ads to come in, and then so that was just one program that we did amongst many throughout the year. I mean, I think I mentioned to you, like, we built a 6-story vending machine at South by Southwest because we had Doritos Jack chips, which are basically a bigger Dorito chip. And
so you had to have a bigger vending machine.
We had to have a bigger venue. And so, like, at South by Southwest, we came in there strong, and we had Snoop Dogg playing in it, Ice Cube, we had Ludacris, Lady Gaga. I mean, and so we were putting on that show. So
do you interact with the talent in those situations, or is that someone else's job? Like, how's that part work for the agency?
Yeah, they have reps, and so a little bit, but it really depends. I mean, we've done in that situation probably less because we were running a big music festival. But when we're doing commercials with celebrities, like I've shot 40 commercials with Amy Poehler.
Really?
Like, interact with her. I mean, she's not like calling me up and doesn't know me first name basis, but I interact with her.
No one knows you on a first name basis, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so, she's like, Crain.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So yeah,
that sounds pretty amazing, though. But you work with a whole bunch of people. People were talking about like Ludacris, like that's old school stuff. Flavor Flav, Lady Gaga, Dua Lipa. I mean, these people are all.
Dua Lipa was, so I'm not anymore, but we were the agency of record for Truly Hard Seltzer. So we did the Dua Lipa work. Probably work that I imagine you're familiar with. Your Cousin from Boston, that's us. So I'm the account lead on that.
Sam
So,
Adams, they hired the West Coast ad
yep,
agency.
yep. We've brought on a lot of creatives and people that are from New England,
Yeah.
obviously to help with that. But yeah, we've shot with Big Papi, Kevin Garnett, most recently Brad Marchand, and we did
Yeah.
the Marshandy, Derek White, who's amazing, Derek Whiteale, and then
He's the man.
we just did a commercial with Bregman.
He's also the man. I
Yeah,
just saw something with him online. I think was it beer related, like Sam Adams?
yeah, that's us.
Someone sent me a picture of him. I think he was at a bar drinking. He poured himself a glass or something that was on X.
Yeah, so our team came up with that concept and helped shoot it and did the whole thing. So we come up with the idea, sell it to the client, work on the production of it, the whole thing. So
how much travel is involved in your job nowadays? Still, is it still pretty travel intensive?
it was insane pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I was Comcast and Xfinity were my main client after Frito-Lay, and I was flying to Philly twice a month for sure, and that doesn't include shoots in LA and whatnot. So it was a ton of travel. I mean, we would fly for hour meetings, like it was crazy. And so honestly, one of the positives coming out of COVID is just doing things like this, where I actually talk to my clients more, and we have more interactions with them via Teams or Zoom, or so less travel. When we have a big production, we're flying to wherever that is. But
now, tell me about what you guys do in the world of golf, right? Because it's kind of funny because we hadn't talked in a bit, and then we reconnected through a mutual friend of ours, Cy Sear, who's a golf photographer, friend of the podcast. But you guys were at what tournament were you guys at together? I forget what it was.
Yeah, so I'm on Comcast Business. Comcast Business is a proud partner of the Players.
Yeah,
and I mean, crazy small world story, Randy. You and I have talked about this, but we're prepping for a meeting. We're getting ready to go down to the Players at TPC Sawgrass. I'm getting on a call with different agencies and representatives from the client, and we're all getting ready to go down there. And we've got stuff programs we're putting on, speaker series that we're putting on, shoots that we're having with Colin Morikawa and the whole thing. And I'm looking at the list and I see Cy Sear, and I'm like, Cy Sear, like that is a very unique name. It's a very unique name, and I get blasted back to Dan Rober's like senior year in his black and white photography class, where he held up a Sports Illustrated. It was a bowling shot. It was a full spread, and it was when Cy worked for Sports Illustrated, and he shot it. And we were all looking at it being like, I want to be like Cy Sear.
Totally. If you took Robert's photography class, like Cy Sear pictures were all over the place.
Cy Sear was a legend. Yeah, exactly. And so we get on this call, and I forget exactly how it went down, but I was like, Cy, I got to ask, are you from Biddeford, Maine? And it was like, I mean, we were like, and everyone on the call was like, what is this? Like, you guys want to have a separate conversation? And then, we've become close buddies. We talk a lot. We talk about the podcast.
Absolutely, man.
And I literally was in Biddeford, 3 weeks ago for 5 hours. We were like, my wife's family is from Boston, and we were headed up north in Maine, and stopped by, went to the bathhouse and got a George's Italian, the whole thing.
Yeah, all the landmarks. Yeah.
Exactly. But Cy, the man, like offered to shoot my family for free on the beach. Like we did like a 30-minute photo session, and my wife was like, what is it? I'm like, that's Maine. That's Cy. Like, it was so cool. So we're literally in this like short window of time getting out of the car, getting the kids in something, and there was Cy. So yeah, he's the man. So he is the at the course photographer. When we're there for the Players, I'm walking around with him. We're like making sure we're getting a ton of B-roll stuff that we'll use in like collateral and billboards and stuff later on. But he and I are like two Biddeford guys lockstep at the Players. And we sent you this past year when it was JJ and Rory down to the wire. Like, I mean, we're the proud partner. So it's like, I don't know if you've been to the course. It's insane And then the 17th hole and the 18th hole, like we have, thanks to Comcast Business, like the seats that you want to be in. And it's unreal. It's the most unique golf viewing experience I've ever been a part of. And that's what we were sending you videos of, like that
which was
by JJ Spawn. And so anyway, it was, it's pretty cool. It's things like that I try not to take for granted. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, this is pretty amazing. And it's all, if
you just think about your upbringing, though, you know, and like where we're from, it's like to think that you've had all these awesome experiences and worked with these companies and people and been all over the world. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Very, very cool, inspiring story for people that are from our area as well. You know,
I mean, I don't know if you've had her on, but I mean, you have a family connection that is like in this world too. Have you had Jenna on, your sister-in-law?
I have not had Jenna on. My sister-in-law is, in your world, marketing, CMO, Liberty Mutual. I mean, it has to happen. We talked about it. I feel like this is going to push me to do it.
I mean, it may, but I mean, she is a hitter in the marketing world. Shout out to Jenna. I mean, she's a badass. But she's the CMO of Liberty Mutual. They were a client of ours.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with the Limu Emu and Duh. Like that is,
kidding.
That's our agency working with Jenna to come up with that Liberty. Like that's us. So that small world thing, like she flew out and we connected and it was funny. Like she rolls in and she's like, I think at the time she was the CMO. Maybe she wasn't at that time, but you have to imagine there's a handful of people on my side that are like trying to wine and dine her a little bit. And we were like, hey, let's grab a beer.
People try to wine and dine her all the time.
Yeah. And so I was like, let's grab a beer before you go out with everybody and do a big client dinner. And so she and I met beforehand and we're at the bar and like, then everyone comes and they're like, wow, why is Crain talking to Jenna? Like, how did they know each other? And they're probably thinking we're, I don't know, talking business, and we're like talking about Biddeford.
Talking about Mundo.
Exactly. So it was a small world thing. I mean, Jenna.
Small. That's small world on a level. I don't know how often that sort of stuff happens where, you know, those connections on the level that you two are just happen to be people that went to high school within, a year of each other growing up, you know, it's.
Exactly. So I've known Jenna since I was little. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I do have to have her on the podcast. This is going to be my motivation.
You should. She's doing pretty amazing things. So, and she's family. So
100%. Yeah. So what's it like doing your job with a young family? You have 2 young kids, married. Like, is that a balancing act for you?
I've been married since 2017. My wife, Heather, and then we have 2 kids. I have a 5.5-year-old boy, Harper, and a 3.5-year-old daughter, Charlotte. We call her Charlie. That's the best, man. I like, to be honest, because I've been at the agency so long and I've like earned the respect and I have a bit more autonomy and I have such a solid team around me. Mm-hmm. We're in the office 3 days a week. So I work from home on today and Mondays. So I get to see them a lot. I try to pick up my kids from preschool and coach the teams and everything. It is a bit of a balancing act, and I'm sure once my son, he's starting to like get into different sports and stuff. So it'll be, I'm not signing up for like the head coach job. I'm like the assistant coach that doesn't always have to be there.
It's still good though, man. It's still good to do that. You know, if that's what works for you, it's better than nothing.
And we've moved out of the city. We're living in the suburbs now. So it's small town, smaller than Biddeford, but it's 7,000.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. It's like small community. There's a lot of young families. We're starting to meet more and more people. And we have a really great core group of people that in our 20s, 30s, were in San Francisco. A lot of East Coast transplants, actually.
I'm sure.
A handful of them have gone back to Boston or Maine or wherever. But also a handful of them have moved out to the suburbs as they've started to raise kids and whatnot. So it's the best. It is the best.
You guys are on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge, it sounds like. Yeah,
we're in Marin. I'm on a good day 40 minutes outside the city in a town, San Anselmo.
Which is we'll get to that town. So I went to college at St. Anselm College. No relationship, but when I know that's the town that you do your race in, and I'm always something I've remembered just based on that alone. But so me and Tara have been to wine country a few times, and man, you are so lucky to live in that part of the country. I think. I mean, I don't know where it is specifically in your town, but like just that whole part of the country is awesome. You know,
we're I don't know, probably 30, 40 minutes south of Sonoma. You gotta. I felt like that's maybe one time we texted. You were headed up to wine country, but next time now that we're doing this, like, let's go.
100%. Dude, absolutely. No, I do remember talking we've been to San Francisco maybe 3 times, and I do remember talking one of the times, and I don't know what ended up happening, but we do enjoy it up there. I think we said Scottsville one time, and I mean all kinds of. I mean, we love it up there. But like to think, I think even at the time when we're driving through all these areas, thinking like Crain lives here, someplace around here. You know, it's just like it's just a totally different planet. To me, as someone that lives in Maine still, I mean, you grow up here, it's like people have. It's not like this in San Anselmo probably, but like in wine country, it's like in people's front yards, it's just grapes, and in our front yards here, it's grass. You know, it's like totally.
I don't have grapes. I do have a peach tree.
Yeah.
So I have peach tree, but we don't have grapes. But yeah, it definitely took some getting used to, and I'm still getting used to it, frankly. But it's good. It's good living for sure.
So now I want to talk about a couple other things outside of work. Right. We were kind of just touching on a second. You have this big run that you put together. I don't know if it's a big run at this point, but it's called Baldydash. It's happening tomorrow. Podcast is going to be next week, so it'll already have been done.
It already happened. All right.
Tell me about Baldydash.
I wanted to have like an impact on the town that I was like moving to, and honestly, selfishly, it was probably like a way to meet people, build a community, have a role in the community. A number of things you kind of touch on with like school board and whatnot, coaching. Everything you're saying is something that I can personally relate to. So it's just a different approach, which I actually love. Yeah, and I also, as silly as it sounds, like I'm nostalgic and sentimental to all. I'm a borderline hoarder. My wife said, like, I put sentimental value on a lot of things, and I like tradition, and I like remembering certain things. And so I oftentimes make T-shirts for big events. I make flags, which we can talk about. But I like remembering moments in my life, and one of that is like with vintage T-shirts or new T-shirts or T-shirts that I design. I'll like pay creatives at my agency to like, or I'll give them a 30-pack of beer or whatever to help me make logos for these things. But I knew that I wanted to do something for the community, and we have this thing called Live on the Avenue, which during COVID they shut down the Avenue, which is like the basically Main Street for 4 blocks, and on each end they have live music playing, and it goes from June to end of September. And
so it's shut down
every Friday night. Yeah, it's called Live on the Avenue, and it is the place that everyone goes. You bring a blanket, you get the kids out of preschool, and you walk down there, and it's like small town vibes. It's amazing. And so I was like, all right, well, we live at the base of this hill called Bald Hill. I run it or hike it, walk it. It's pretty steep. I want to make a T-shirt. I want to meet new people. I want to start like a town tradition. And I want to, like, I don't know, be that old guy 25 years from now that's like walking around in an old tie-dye T-shirt. And they're like, oh, that's the guy that did the thing. And so
it's like, you were writing Baldydash back in whatever, you know, like it's something people can connect through.
Last year, we thought we were going to, so I brought in a buddy to help me do it. I oftentimes like, I definitely do things on my own, but I like sharing it with someone too, to like share the highs and lows. And so I brought in my buddy James, who's an avid runner. I'm like I wouldn't say I'm an avid runner. I'm definitely not like a trail runner, but I get out there hiking and whatnot. But anyway, so I had this idea about doing this thing called Baldydash, and it was up Bald Hill. It's 1,200 vertical feet, 5-mile loop. Yep. And it starts at the school, which is right by our house, and it ends down at Live on the Avenue, where then you congregate and get a beer and hang out. Yeah, so we thought we were going to get 25 people last year, and 100 people came out.
Yep.
And this year, I was out this morning putting the route down. We've got people have even signed up this morning. We've got 100 and like close to 70 people.
That's awesome.
Doing it. And registration is $40. You're going to get a tie-dye T-shirt. I actually have it here. I'm going to show you.
Love it.
This is
Yep. Nice logo.
This is the I made a running hat.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yep. So, but we're gonna kick it off tomorrow at 4:30. 170 or so runners are gonna go up. At the top, you get a koozie. It's the symbol that you made it to the top. Come back down, and this year we upped it. I got 8 sponsors to sponsor the events. There's a lot of local sponsors, but one is a non-alc. It's called Best Day Brewing. They're going to give everybody free non-alc, and it's a fun run. It's not like there's definitely people that are going to seriously run it.
There's probably some people that just look for races to run, and they'll
and there's people that are going to hike it. It's just all shapes, sizes, like all is welcome. But the grand prize goes to the averager, which is the person that comes dead in the middle. So that's the vibe.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing, or did you make that be a thing?
We made it up.
Yeah. I've never heard that before. Maybe there's other races that do that.
No, that is unique to
closest. Love it.
So yeah, that's tomorrow, and we're like, we've got this. I've been doing this podcast, which I'm stoked about. I've got
hopefully it's not too overwhelming for you.
But I'm like last night going to bed, I'm like stressing about like want to make sure the podcast is good, and I gotta get up at 6 a.m. and do the route. So there's a lot of we tie-dyed a bunch of t-shirts. The adult t-shirts we didn't tie-dye, but we tie-dyed 50 kids t-shirts, so we're gonna sell those, and it all goes to Live on the Avenue. Yeah. So
there's an organization that kind of oversees Live on. What do you mean by it's going to go to Live on the Avenue?
The group, it's the town that puts on the concert series, but we actually don't do this through the town. It's kind of, we did this like grassroots, and I think this is probably the last year. They're like, because we don't have people blocking traffic or anything. This is like it's a bit of a free for all.
So, what do you mean? This is your last year doing it though?
No. This will be the last year that won't probably be like officially sanctioned.
Yeah.
I
it's a great thing. Like I would hate for it to be the last year.
No, Randy. Hey, we're gonna do a Sonoma Napa trip. You're gonna come out for Baldydash, and
gonna run this thing, get a koozie at the top,
exactly,
an NA at the bottom.
It's best day yet.
Big NA guy now. By the way,
Same.
So I'm gonna have to look up Best Day. They probably don't have any distribution on the East Coast.
I can't say this as a representative of Sam Adams, but I will drink non-alc and alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
So, but Best Day is great. I did find it. We were on Cape Cod way out at the end in Provincetown, and it's available out there. So I bet it's available in Maine. Best Day.
Gotta get out. I'll get back out there. We'll connect on this. That sounds awesome. I hope it's a huge hit. Like I do enjoy seeing the posts that you put on Instagram about it just over the past couple of years. And I saw the hats, and I'll look for whatever you're sharing tomorrow. I hope it's a huge success. How's the weather looking? Fine. It's always fine out there. I imagine.
Honestly, it's hot. So we got to make sure it'll be high 80s, low 90s. It's going to be scorchy.
With that elevation too.
We got a local grocery store that donated water, so we'll have plenty of water.
Love it. All right. Well, keep me posted on that. One of the other things I want to talk to you about, though, too, is Super Much. So this is like your creative outlet, it seems like. Like a website, what is it? Super Much Stuff?
Supermuchstuff.com. I couldn't get Super Much, yeah.
Yeah, and at least what I've seen is you sold these stuffed animals that you created. And I was actually going to go buy one. This is a few years ago, right? They went, you don't sell, huh? Yeah, exactly. It was a few years ago that you did this, though, right?
I've been doing that. I've been making these for friends' kids for 7-8 years. And it's upcycled fleece jackets. So it's old fleece jackets. When a kid grows out of a jacket, or you have an old jacket that's laying around, I will sew it into a stuffed animal, and was doing it just on the side at night. I was almost called it nap time because
you're so exhausted.
Well, no, it was during naps is when I was sewing these things for my kids. But a friend of mine actually who lives in Yarmouth, I sent one to her son a handful of years ago, and they sent me back a video that said, "Crain, I love this super much." And I was like, "Oh, Meg, that's the name." And so I was doing it kind of behind the scenes, making it just for friends. And then a handful of people started reaching out to me being like, "Hey, can I get one?" And so I've, for the past couple of years, been trying to figure out how to make this a bigger thing. And a handful of cut and sew factories in San Francisco or LA, they're they're not going to work with an old jacket. They work with the quantities are way too higher than what my needs would be. And so I put out a post on Nextdoor a couple of years ago to see if there was anyone that honestly like a grandma that could help me sew these.
Yeah.
And I brought on Lori, who's 65, who lives in the town next to me. And for a handful of months, probably a year, we were like cranking these things out together. So she would I would draw the pattern. We would figure out exactly what color scheme we wanted. We did custom ones and non-custom ones. And she would sew some stuff. I would sew some stuff. I would stuff them, and and I'm shipping them at night. And we were doing every weekend was a different drop. This probably when you saw it. And honestly, it just, it was so fun, but it just got to be exhausting. And so right now I do want to figure out what to do with this, because I think I know there's an idea here, and we probably sold 100.
Which is great. She made a little bit of money, and maybe it's both.
And I got it out there. So honestly, the thing was just, you have the idea, see if you can make it real, and that's what I did. I mean, I don't know if you have any LL Bean or Patagonia reps that watch your podcast or listen to your podcast, but
I would love it if you were connected.
That would be the ultimate thing, to like work with an LL Bean or Patagonia worn wear and work with like their dead stock or old jackets that are going to a landfill and repurpose them into stuffed animals for kids. So that's the idea.
Well, you get the domain name, you get the website. I mean, it's obviously a pretty bare bones website at this point, but like the branding.
I have all of them up there that we've sold, and you can email me. I have gotten some emails. I've had to turn them down right now. I've got too much going on with kids and the run right now. But I'll get back at it one of these days.
It sounds like you just have like this creative itch for things.
Did you say you wanted to buy one? I didn't know that.
No, there was a time I wanted to buy one. I feel like my kids, maybe I'd consider buying it, but like the time that I had seen you, I was like, I need to buy this for my kids, because they're like, they don't have enough stuffed animals as it is.
Right.
I think I want to go do it, and they were sold out or whatever, or I missed the opportunity.
It's funny,
but it's such a great idea, and honestly, like the stuff you do, or at least the way it looks online, it just seems like really high quality stuff and just looks good. So, and obviously, people want to support you anyways.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So,
sorry, I cut you off.
No, dude, it's good. I mean, I love it. I love seeing all these different things that you're doing. It's just like it's been awesome, kind of catching up on all the things. I kind of wanted to end with like a few other things, kind of getting back to like life and work, and just I'd be interested in what your answers to some of these questions are. But like when I talk to people like yourself that has had a level of success, I'm curious what that key to success was, and just in work, in school, and growing up in life. Is there like a certain thing that you attribute your success to?
I'm an optimist. I'm enthusiastic, and I get a rush from like people that are being creative and making things. And again, I'm just kind of I try and be as positive as I possibly can. The phrase that no one follows a pessimist type thing is something that's always stuck with me. So in my industry, that is the thing. Like you have to roll into these, you're constantly getting briefed on new projects, trying to solve different business problems for your clients. And you kind of got to, being at the same agency for 19 years, you got to be able to roll with the punches and push through things and stay positive and get people fired up around maybe things they don't want to do, because there's just constant change happening. So, and oftentimes a lot of rejection in our industry. We say like we have 49% of the vote. Like the clients always make the call. It's a service industry. So yeah, I mean, I just try and like approach things with an entrepreneurial spirit and have fun with it. I walk into work every day with a smile on my face, and I'm excited to be there. And I'm making ads. Like it's silly. and it's allowing me to make stuffed animals or
do these other fun things.
Yeah.
But it's, in a way, like your job does touch a lot of people. It reaches a lot of people. Yeah. When someone in Kansas sees an advertisement campaign that you're involved in, and it puts some type of feeling inside of them, like it's interesting to think that you're a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're in my job, I'm a part of constantly making things, whether it's a TV commercial, a billboard, banner or whatever, or an experience, a 6-story vending machine. We're constantly making. And so I feel like I thrive in those moments, and yeah, it gives me a rush. So I don't even know if that answered your question. Did it?
No, you did. I mean, I think just that whole optimist mindset is good. My brother is very much that way. You know, there's other people very much that way, and I think that's a great way to be, and it's great for people to hear. On a similar vein, but maybe a little bit different, but what advice would you give to like a 22-year-old kid that's graduating college, Babson or wherever, and that wants to get into the ad business? Is the advice that you give them different than what you just told me, or is it like
it's definitely that, but I would also say my advice would be like, find the thing that is gonna make someone's life easier. Like my job for a handful of years was to make, it's actually still my job is to make the person above me their life a little bit easier.
Yeah. And that person's changed over the years probably, but like it's still the same thing.
Totally. And so, yeah, I became an expert in that. And the only other advice I would give is be gracious, say thank you. It's again, back when I was first starting out, but even today, when you craft an email or you write something to an internal team or a big group of people or to a client, and someone more senior than you sends a note that's just like, that was a great email, thank you for sending that. Like, that is like, I know it goes such a long way, and I forget that sometimes, even in my position I'm in now, and have very much, I would say, I wish I would have known that earlier. I'm very big on now some advice from friends. Like I send a lot of handwritten notes just saying thank you. It's so, yeah, that's an important thing that doesn't always happen. So
everyone remembers getting a handwritten note. You know,
I don't know. I follow this guy on Instagram named Jesse Itzler.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
Awesome.
And his wife is Sarah Blakely Spanks, and I mean, again, he's like, he is a serial entrepreneur and like the most positive person you'll ever meet.
Always has a smile on his face. And always has a smile on his face.
He's a billionaire, so it's like that helps. But also he has a run club thing that he's started, and anyway, he at the end of every year, I don't know if you've seen this, at the end of every year, he thinks about the 25 to 50 people that have had an impact on his life, and he sends them a handwritten note. I'm sorry, on his year. And I did it this past year and sent 10 out. And it was like incredible to sit down and think about your year.
Yep.
To then think about people that had an impact on it, to then write it down and write to them. But the response from people was like insane. And like a friend of mine responded back and he's like, dude, I've had a really rough day. And you have no idea what like your note meant to me. And it's like, it took me very little time to do that. And I actually think I need to send Jesse Itzler a note that thanks him for having an impact on my year.
If you do that, please let me know, because I think it's a great idea. He would probably love every second of it.
I actually think that he's like posting about it now. Like I think people are doing this, and I mean, honestly, like one takeaway would be send more thank you notes. I don't. That's personal.
And saying thank you. I mean, that's one way to do it. Send thank you notes, but like in general, I think it's just a good thought to be more gracious and thankful. So, you're definitely another one of your keys to success, and a big reason why you're kind of where you're at right now. So, love to hear it, man. Thank you for sharing that. And honestly, thank you for coming on the podcast. Like, great catch up sesh. Like, it makes me want to fly out to California and go hang out and grab a beer, grab some wine.
We're gonna do that for sure.
We're going to do it. And the next time you're in Biddeford for 4 hours, I'll come and hold the lighting thing for Cy for your next like family pictures or whatever.
I think my mom loved the 5 hours that we spent there, but was like, hey, next time let's stay a little bit longer. Absolutely. I will say that, again, have been watching from afar what's been happening to the town, and I'm sure there's positives and negatives and things that I'm not aware of, but I will say that as someone who is not there, but at a certain point in my life was like, I don't know, we were like a stop on 95 that no one, a friend of mine in college, his dad was like, I think I stopped and get gas on the way to Sunday River.
Yeah.
That's the town you live in. And now, even just in the past 10 years, with everything that's happening downtown, and I've always been proud to say where I'm from, but people know it. It's on the map. It's like people are going to it versus going to Kennebunk Port or Portland. So it's a pretty super proud to be from Biddeford, Maine. And again, Randy, just what you're putting on and doing is pretty incredible. And keep it up. And I will happily come on anytime, and we will hang out whenever you want, and whether it's in California. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Awesome, bud. All right,
Cool.
man. Well, thanks again. We will be in touch. Good luck tomorrow. Can't wait to hear how it goes, and we'll do it again sometime.
Thank you.